Hey everybody, Alex Tam from the Streamline team, and we have Ann here as well. And today we have a very exciting topic that talks about security. When you hire a VA, do you have security issues? Are you afraid of other people stealing your information? Let's get started, Ann. What do we got?
Okay, Doc. So like what you've said, they're talking about the safety and security of those informations. So it's trending now most of the time. There's a lot of people who are hacking or hackers nowadays. So what is your stand for that, Doc? As a Streamline owner, what is your stand about hackers or hacking informations?
So people are going to worry about others being hackers in the world. Well, am I going to give out my information? Once my information goes out, what happens to it, right? Is it a security issue? Well, I've been working with virtual assistants since 2016. And with how things are nowadays, there's so many ways to protect yourself in terms of usernames and passwords. For example, we use something called LastPass.com, right? To share usernames and password without other people seeing your username and password. I always tell clients to use a password generator so that it generates a random password every single time. Now, the other thing people ask me, well, what about QuickBooks? You know, don't they see my finances and all that? They do see your finances on QuickBooks, but your VAs do not have access to your actual bank account. It's not like they're logging into your bank account. They could transfer money back and forth. Now, if you are afraid for people to see how much money you make, how much money you spend, and don't want that to be shown, well, that's your problem, right? But who are they going to sell that information to? Imagine if you're a public traded company and you have earnings and income and expenses all the time. It's shown, it's public, right? That's what a company does overall. So that's where people can sometimes be like, well, do I really want people to have access to it? Do I not? It's up to you. Now, in terms of, say, Facebook, social media, they might say, wouldn't they hold my social media hostage? I tell them, I said, why would your employees want to hold your social media hostage? For what? Like, how bad do you have to treat somebody in order for them to hold your social media hostage? I said, most of the time, your company page, they're accessing it with their page as well. So you have full control of who has access to your stuff or not. So ever since we started using virtual assistants, 2016, started with 1, now we have 10. I have not had the issue of hacking from my own VAs, right? My credit cards and everything been hacked by who knows, God knows where, right? And they've used it for all kinds of random stuff, but not from my own team. And that's where, but then people have had bad experiences, right? They've had bad experiences. They've been hacked before, so they're afraid to use a virtual assistant. One way that we use to mitigate that is we do a very detailed checkup of interviews, resumes. I'm putting together a future background check system for all of our VAs and see how that will be made and done since it's in another country, just to make sure that our clients can feel safer, right? That way. And so those are some of the ways that we are doing, some of the things that we're doing to mitigate risks in terms of hacking.
Well, thank you so much for that, Doc. Anyway, Doc, I just also have a follow-up. Do you think that's also the reason, aside from financial stability or what so, is it also the reason why a lot of business owners are hesitant to hire VAs with regards to giving information to their accounts? Would that be also the one reason?
Well, in the US, people are very private about their information. I get it, right? About what their earnings are, how much they're spending on marketing and whatnot. And I believe that we should be open about it. You know, upon your own employees, people have to see their employees not just as people working for them. They should see their employees as investors. right? They should be telling their employees about how the company is spending their money, what type of input they're putting in, right? How are they utilizing, how are they planning to grow? How's the company planning to grow? And so people understands what they're working for, right? If you're just working your day to day, not understanding how the company is growing, you don't have to want to do it. But if you look at a company like Walmart, right? Every employee at Walmart can pull financials, and if they want to, can have an understanding of how Walmart is growing. You see, the CEO of Walmart started off as an employee working at a store. The regional managers that fly around all over the world internationally started off as employees. But they were eager to learn about the business and how it worked. And Walmart gave them the opportunity to move up as well. I mean, if you and I, Ann, want to pull up the Walmart financials, earnings, income, and expenses, we're able to pull that up. They're a publicly traded company, right? If big corporations are able to show their earnings and everything and profits to the world, why are business owners afraid to show that, right, to people that do their books, or people who handle their bookkeeping, or people who does their payroll, right? Why would we be afraid? We shouldn't be. We should be open to say, hey, this is what's going on. This is how we're going to grow. Here's the books. Let's keep a tight look on it. This is what we're spending on advertising, expenses here and there. And that's okay, right? Now, some owners like to do it themselves. So they actually can look at it. I've made it very efficient. I spend about 20 minutes to look at my bookkeeping every 2 weeks. And I've made it very efficient for me to do it and for me to look at it at the same time, right? But some people don't have that discipline. They rather have someone else do it. But here's the problem. When someone else looks at something and they just put it off to someone else, and they don't have the discipline to look at it themselves, that's where things can happen. I've had business owners where, yes, their employees have stolen thousands, $100,000 in a year from them. And I'm like, how did you not know that you lost $100,000 in a year? How did you not know that? How did you not catch that until the end of the year? Right? That's because they weren't even looking at their books. They completely rely on somebody else. Right? I was taught by one of my mentors. He says, you have to inspect what you expect. Right? As long as you are inspecting on a regular basis, or someone is inspecting what you are expecting for them to do, you're going to be fine. You have a check system. Right? Where business owners get lazy and they get scammed and this happened and that happens because they were never disciplined enough to inspect what they were expecting. They just show someone one thing and they were like, oh yeah, you take it. And I don't look at it. And then I don't know what happens.
Just like the saying, success is your duty and responsibility, Doc.
Absolutely. For our office, for our people, staff, everybody. If I'm not looking at it, who else is going to look at it? No one's going to care more about it than me. Right? I'm not saying others don't care. I'm not saying you don't care, Ann. I'm just saying that you might not care as much about it as I do. Right? And that's okay. We have to understand that as business owners. Some people think their employees should care as much as they do. If you care 100%, and if your employees care 85, 90%, I'm happy. Right? They should care at least 80% as much as you do. How about that? They're not going to care more than you do. That's where business owners got it wrong. They're not going to. No one's going to. I don't care about my friend's business as much as he does. Okay, when I was working for CompUSA, when I was working at the wastewater treatment plant, I don't care about the wastewater treatment plant as the director of the wastewater treatment plant. I care to get my job done, but my job wasn't to care about how the company was going to grow. So even if I wanted to care, I didn't know how to care. Right? But I cared enough about what I did to make sure I did a great job with everything I did. That's the most important part that people need to get.
Yes, that's right, Doc. And I think also that's also important that you share your goals of what is your path going through so that your virtual assistants will say, oh, are you are on the same page as well. So I think
Absolutely,
also that's
100%. 100%. Yeah. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Anne, for the chat today. I hope a lot of people learned a lot from this.
absolutely, Doc. I think that's a lot of values for today's chat. But anyway, to wrap this up, Doc, what can we do on Streamline Team to those business owners who are hesitant, like they're having the thoughts of hacking, hackers, and sharing information to other people? What is your message to all of them?
My message to all of them is let's hop on a call. Let's talk about what you're afraid they're going to hack into, and let's figure out ways to prevent that together. You see, we've done it long enough where we can do as much as we can to mitigate that problem, and I'm willing to sit down and chat with them. And for those of you who have not subscribed, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to it as well. If you're watching this on any of the social media platforms, right, other than YouTube, comment, message, direct message me, hit me up on LinkedIn. We're very active on LinkedIn all the time to other business owners and other professionals. Thank you so much, Anne. I'll talk to you later.
Good, Doc.